You think Trump has a future in play-by-play?
Absolutely. More so on ESPN. He seemed really good at the hot takes. I've had it with the kickoff rule. Don't like the kickoff.
I didn't see anything with Pat McAfee today, but I was watching the Niner Ram game on the one TV, and then in the two box on another TV, I saw that Trump was on with Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma, and I was like, "Oh, I got to turn the sound on for this." And not like a huge thing, but like I figured Trump doesn't know like they're a national broadcast because he kept referring to Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma like your quarterback. I like a quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Like he didn't even say their names. He didn't know who he was talking about. Like he was referring to the players, but like he didn't know Marcus Mariota by name or Jaden Daniels. So he just kept saying like, I like your starting quarterback. Gets injured a little too much. I like the backup quarterback too, though. And then he's talking about the Lions are pretty good. That was a great trade. You mean the trade from like 6 years ago? And dude, the way that he called the Debo touchdown, he's like, look at that right there. Oh, and then he's talking about how he loves George Allen, and then Jonathan Miller has to cut him off. You know, they're going for two, Mr. President. Oh, let's watch this. It could be very important while the game's a total blowout.
Yeah. They put him on with the A team for Fox, huh?
Well, I think initially that was supposed to be the Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt game, and then with the way the Commander season is going, they changed that.
That would have been fascinating had those two been calling it.
Brady and Trump, dude.
Yeah, Brady
he's trying to
Trump.
avoid him so much because they found the MAGA hat in his locker room.
Right.
He refused to go to the White House after they won the Super Bowl. But we know Trump's down with Trump.
Yeah,
sorry, Brady's down with Trump.
Yeah, didn't he also like call the players bitches for kneeling?
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
that happened.
Yeah, I think he did. Sons of bitches, but bitches.
No, I know Trump did. Did Tom Brady do that?
No, not Tom Brady. Sorry, I'm talking about Trump.
Oh God, yeah. No, I remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the weekend before, or the Friday before the weekend where the Raiders played the Commanders, or then Redskins on Sunday Night Football. And God, that was when the Raiders started 2-0 in 2017, and everything was looking good. Marshawn Lynch was dancing on the sidelines against the Jets, and then that Friday, Trump was like, "Will someone tell those sons of bitches to stop kneeling?" And then I remember they were in the nation's capital, and all the Raider players, knelt for the national anthem, and that led to a whole rumored riff in the locker room with Derek Carr and the offensive line. I don't want to speculate. Some say that was the reason why the season went in the tubes. But
some say, you mean that one wife whose name's escaping me right now?
Miko Grimes?
Miko Grimes.
Wife of Brent Grimes, who didn't say much in his NFL career, but the wife did a lot of talking.
I remember the wife more than the actual player, and that's because it was more than just that with the whole Derek Carr thing. I remember that was when I was in like my prime of listening to Levitard, and Miko Grimes would always be saying stuff.
Yeah,
he was with the Dolphins at the time. So I remember that. And yeah, Trump's you're doing the impression though. You're doing the current impression of Trump. Like his voice has changed lately. Like it's gone from way more energetic.
I'm just trying to copy Shane Gillis at this point.
And now he like, well, Shane does it perfectly in that he's always talking as if something's like a bad idea. I don't know about that now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just luckily I wasn't watching that game. I just would have probably gotten really, really frustrated. I don't know. I'm kind of over this whole Trump political thing. Like South Park made a point, the creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they made a point that they are making their episodes politically motivated because politics is pop culture now. Like it's totally in your face, and that sucks. That really sucks. Like, as a lot of people saw his thing on McAfee is, no, it's just the president shooting the shit on Veterans Day. It's the commander-in-chief.
No.
Well, no, it was, but I don't need that. Like, I don't need the president shooting the shit for 25 minutes, who's happens to be a very divisive human being and one who I just don't buy into what he's selling. Like, he's made this whole presidency about how he's the everyman and he's above these political corrupt people who think that you're all beneath these the government. Well, yeah, it's just I don't believe in anything that he really says. Like, I just don't believe he watches sports. I don't believe he's that cool. He just has a bunch of talking points that he goes over. And really, with McAfee, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just an impressionist, a guy who went on there who does a really, really good Trump impression, and they paid him a lot of money to these people so that he could go on Pat McAfee.
I doubt that. I think that Trump, somebody from his office, tipped off McAfee that he was going to be at the Commanders Lions game and then wanted to have him on for Veterans Day. Look, politics aside, I don't like politicians going on sports shows. I just don't. Like, it could have been Joe Biden or Kamala Harris in the booth, and I wouldn't have liked it either. Like, what is this? Like, and I know that Trump has done this. Like, he went on Bussin' with the Boys and other podcasts, and I just don't care. I really don't. Like, I watch sports to get away from politics. So the fact that he was in the booth, and yes, they were talking about football for the most part, and they left politics out of it. But McAfee has always been about being down the middle, really. But today he had to have the president on. So I'm not here to call any side out. I just think it's lame that some people talk about being, apolitical, but then they go back on that.
Yeah. This is also like the most we've ever heard from a president.
Yeah.
It's way too much. Like, I liked it better when you'd hear from him like twice a month if you didn't pay attention to politics. But now it's just with social media, and I think really political videos being shared among Twitter. I think it's at a much higher level now, just because you have like way more people viewing independent journalists as opposed to these mainstream media outlets nowadays, and they're searching for something else like that. I don't know how to pronounce the name, the ACYN, who I happen to follow, Aaron Rupar, and really the Midas Touch, anything that they do, or Midas Touch, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Trust the Midas Touch.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere, and you're hearing about it every day. And it's just, I'm looking up at the news, and I'm seeing Trump speaking from war memorial, and then the next day it's him speaking from his doorway on Air Force One. Then the next thing it's him on a golf course. I don't know. It's all over the place, man.
No, it is. I will say, I was more pissed about Bob Iger going on the Manning cast and not saying a goddamn thing about YouTube TV versus ESPN.
You were able
on
to
the
watch
Manning
that?
cast? What's up?
You were able to watch that?
Well, I didn't watch it. I saw clips.
Oh.
I did get a login. I told you. I just think at this point, I don't care about your $20 credit. I mean, I'll take it, but like, what the fuck is this? Figure this out. I don't care who's wrong, who's right. We pay enough for YouTube TV. I should get all the fucking channels, especially for a game that was built up to be a huge, matchup between the Eagles and Packers, and it turned out to be a dud. We'll talk about it later, but damn, come on. What is this crap? This is ridiculous.
You do need more than like an ESPN login to watch, though, right?
No, I'm aware. I have a Xfinity login, and I thought,
that's right.
dude, I've been over this, dude. I thought that bundling Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN got you everything. It does not. You need ESPN Unlimited to get the live channels of ESPN.
It's just ridiculous.
Of course it is.
From Plus to Premium Plus, Plus Premium, and
to
now
ESPN Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. We're coming to you on a Saturday night. Oh, sorry, not Saturday night. What the hell am I talking about? We usually on Saturdays on the weekends. We're coming to you on a Tuesday night, and the Warriors are currently getting their asses blown out by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last time I saw it at halftime or going to the third quarter, they were down by 35.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Kuminga kind of reverting back to a year ago. Yeah, they officially lost. It's over. 126 to 102. Yeah. Kuminga with 5 turnovers. I saw that Steph Curry was in foul trouble. Look, the shine has worn off from when the season started, where they looked electric against the Denver Nuggets. But yeah, the defensively, not great. They look a little old, and everything that we said about like, oh, this team could compete with the Thunder and the Nuggets, and we'll see later on this week if they compete with the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama. I'm not so sure right now. I think that everything's up in the air. I think that it kind of goes back to a year ago where they started 12-3, and then, they started to go on a losing streak. And now it's kind of a little worse than that. So maybe we talked too soon. It's also November, so they can rectify things. But
that's
I think anything's on the table as far as a trade.
I think you're talking too soon about how the shine has worn off. I'm kind of at the point here where I don't even want to try to evaluate. I'm fine with watching on a game by game basis and seeing how players develop. Like, sure, Jonathan Kuminga may have turned the ball over and is kind of reverting back to his old ways, but I think he's the least of their problems right now, or the least of their problems against Oklahoma City. The Thunder had just too much firepower tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to look at this game and say what they need to get a damn big man, as we've always been talking about. I just think that the whole Draymond thing has run it, and the small ball lineup has kind of run its course. He's still a great defender, but he needs somebody else in there. And I don't know if Quentin Post, Al Horford, or Trace Jackson Davis are necessarily the guys to do it. But I'm fine with, watching the players, but as far as like talking about the team overall and where they're at on the season, I think we're going to be making a lot of sweeping proclamations over these next couple of weeks about what this team is, because I think this road trip is going to get really ugly for them. Like the next two in San Antonio, one of them on a back-to-back tomorrow. I think Draymond's not playing already tomorrow, and you got Victor Wembanyama, who's playing at an MVP level. Another game against San Antonio. New Orleans you should be, because the Pelicans suck, but then the Magic and then the Heat to close it out. That's back-to-back too. Like, I just think they're gassed right now. And I don't think this team, you're getting their full, like, I don't think it's for lack of effort, but I just think they're really exhausted. Like just exhausted. So, I don't think until after the road trip I'm really comfortable. Well, comfortable is not the right word, but I don't feel right in evaluating what this team is, just because this road trip sucks. So it really does.
Yeah, I know, but it's also to start the season. Like, why are they so gassed? And I get it. Like, it's a lot of cities in a short amount of time, but I don't know. I'm just worried about their ability to hold up as they are an older team.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that they're going with Draymond as much as they are at the 5, because Steve Kerr told us in the offseason that cannot hold up anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, Draymond's great at the 5, but he's getting older. And I thought that Al Horford was going to help with that, and Al Horford has struggled to start the season, but they signed him late. But then again, it was a handshake agreement the whole time. So, and maybe his age is showing as well. So I'm with you, Steven. They need a big man. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if you can move Al Horford in a trade along with Kuminga to get somebody significant. We keep hearing about Bam Adebayo in Miami, so maybe that's on the table. But yeah, everything we said before, look, Kuminga has been playing pretty well, but that does not stop me from potentially making a trade if they need to improve this team. And I'm surprised they have this lackadaisical attitude as they've had after winning, 73-9, where the regular season doesn't matter as much. It does with this older team. Like, and it's hard to play all these games, but it showed last year, like, you need home court. You need to be a top 5 seed. If you have to do the play-in and go on the road, I'm not so sure. And, of course, Steph Curry needs to be healthy. So it's early in the Warriors season, but the way it was looking initially, it was like, all right, this team's got some juice to them to start the season, and now it's been like kind of reverting to their old ways where they kick a lot of games. I kind of disagree with you, Steven, as far as like it's not for a lack of effort. I think the young guys are trying. They're just not good enough right now. I think the older guys kind of start the season off with a little lackadaisical attitude. They know which games they want to play up for. And maybe tonight they were all in on OKC, but OKC is that much younger and that much better. So we'll talk about it as the season progresses and more so when football season ends. But I think going into the season, I was like, I have no idea what this team's going to look like because I assume they're going to make a big trade at the deadline. And now I'm thinking that once again, where they did a deal with Kuminga for the purposes of dealing him at the deadline. I still think that's on the table right now.
Yeah. God, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's kept that streak going. He scored at least 20 points. The last time where he reached a milestone, it was like 80 straight games of scoring 20 consecutive, and that like passed Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
And the next two or Wilt Chamberlain on that streak, and I think he's inching closer to that one. Wilt Chamberlain went 92 straight games with scoring 20 or more in 1963 going into 1964.
We're talking on the court, right?
I think the numbers were higher off the court, honestly.
Yeah.
And then, but the season before, like the 2 months prior, he had just ended the streak of 112 games, scoring 20 or more points, which is insane.
Yeah. But good news, the Sharks tied it up 1-1 right now in the third period.
Look at that.
And I got to be honest, I'm not like entrenched in Sharks hockey right now, but they are way more entertaining than the Warriors right now. And it's early. Like, there's such more promise to them and intrigue because we never have seen these group of guys. And I think they're playing harder than the Warriors right now. Now, there's nothing more electric than Steph Curry having a Curry flurry in the fourth quarter. But something about Macklin Celebrini and this young squad right now is intriguing about the Sharks. I'm not going to say I watched any of the game last night because that too is on ESPN Plus, but they're fun to watch.
Well, you can watch that one on ESPN Plus. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because you're not having to watch it through like a cable provider like
That's
YouTube
right.
TV,
Yeah.
like with Monday Night Football. It's okay. Yeah, man. Yeah. They're also children. Something that made me remember they are children, really. I mean, they're 19, 20. Will Smith's 20. But they were laughing in the lineup during the national anthem, and they were cracking up because I'm pretty sure one of them farted, and they were just giggling throughout the national anthem.
That was tonight?
No, it was the other night when they were at home.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Just
I wish I
serves
saw
as a
that.
reminder, though, that these guys are still teenagers. Like, it's crazy how young they are, but with how talented Macklin Celebrini is, it's scary how good he is, man.
Man.
He is everything that was advertised. Like, you always, you kind of, you're hesitant to anoint somebody this next big thing just because analysts say so. Draymond Green says so. But he's the real deal. And he's right now, I mean, I think he's as strong a player that's going in Bay Area sports as far as the impact that they're having in their respective sport. Like, it's nuts what he's doing.
Definitely. But you don't have to be children to laugh at farts. I think if you
I guess
were
not.
age,
Farts are timeless, aren't they?
Oh, I mean, Logan Webb laughed his ass off about a fart in the locker room after a loss.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a win. Regardless, farts are always funny. It doesn't matter what age you are. Farts will always be funny.
Agreed.
Like, have you seen the clip where Stephen Colbert interviews Gary Oldman and they play farts after all of his like classic movie moments and he just laughs his ass off?
Yep.
That's a true thespian. Gary Oldman laughing at farts. Farts are funny, everybody.
Sorry.
You don't need to apologize. What did you just do it?
No, I just insinuated that only young people laugh at farts when it's true. Everyone laughs at farts.
Everybody laughs at farts. All right, let's talk about some football. And before we do, this has never happened before. You and I tied in our picks. And we even prepared for this. So I was leading you, and you could have tied me with the Eagles beating the Packers, and sure enough, they did. But to prepare for the tie, both of us did. We picked our scores for the Eagles-Packers game, and the final was 10-7. You went with 26-17 Eagles. I went with 23-20 Packers. And I did the math over and over again. It's the same difference in our picks.
Yeah.
So we tied.
Yeah.
So now both of us have to do the hot sauce. We've never done this before where we tied. And I hate ties. You know how much I fucking hate ties. But I couldn't think of anything else we could do for the tiebreaker. So, and no, I don't lose, AJ Cruz, because I picked the Packers. I shouldn't lose the game because of that, or I shouldn't lose this week because of that. So because the differential is the same, I say we both do hot sauce.
Can't we all agree that everyone lost that had to watch that game if they did? Everyone was a loser who had to watch that, including
Well,
the
can we
Eagles and Packers.
say it was a little bit of good defense as well?
Maybe a little bit of that, but I'd say it was a lot of poor coaching.
We'll talk about that later. And I think a lot is made of that.
Three and out. How much of that is actually good defense compared to the offense just slagging?
No, I think it's on both sides, but we'll talk about it more. All right, let's start with the 49ers. But before we do, Steven, should we both break out the hot sauce simultaneously, or should one go before the other?
No, I think we both do it. And then whoever wants to talk first can talk first. And
all right, then.
I thought about it. I'm just not going to. So I do tend to react in a certain way. And it's overreactionary, I can admit. But I think I'm going to try and just keep a straight face as much as I could. Like, I think.
You think you're capable of that?
I'm going to try. Because it really is hot.
Oh, I know. Sir.
Okay.
You and I are using the same sauce, right? The Pepper X Last Dab Experience.
The Last Dab Experience, yeah.
So we're both experiencing the same thing here.
It really is an experience. Whoever thought of this stuff is just sick in the head.
Yeah.
How big is your little? I guess we'll go with the hot ones lingo. How big is your dab?
I got 2 little dabs. Can you see it right there?
Oh, those are tiny, dude.
Yeah, but that equals one big glob. Oh, Jesus, Steven.
This is how much I put on mine every time. Do you just put that little amount? No wonder you don't react.
Well, I'm not trying to have diarrhea the next day.
Well, we're doing it at night.
I know, Steven, but tomorrow's a whole thing where I have to get on BART. Okay, I got 3 dabs. Oh, I got 4. Jesus. It's going to be one hell of a day tomorrow. All right, let me get my broken cap back on my bottle here. But yeah, Niners lose 42. Ah, shit. Niners lose 42-26. It kind of went as expected, where you and I were talking about it on Saturday, and the Niners had no pass rush, and it was just easy for Matthew Stafford the whole fucking day. Come on, get back on here. Okay, I'll figure that out later. All right, Steven, you and I, let's do this thing. You got 3, 2, 1. All right. You want to go first or me?
You can go first.
Okay. So the 49ers, it's 3 straight weeks where they give up a touchdown on the opening possession on defense. And much like the way the Texans game started 16-0, the Niners were in an early hole. Like Matthew Stafford goes right down the field with ease. No pass rush whatsoever. Touchdown by Kyren Williams. And then the 49ers, on their ensuing possession, are faced with a 4th and 2 on their own 41-yard line. I made the argument that Kyle Shanahan should have gone for that. Because the week prior, he was in a similar situation when they were down 7-0 to the Giants. And he called a timeout when he thought it was going to be a 4th and 2, but turned out to be a 4th and 1. That extended the drive. They scored the touchdown. They tied the game up. Watch your eyes. And I thought it was kind of the same situation where, with how compromised your defense was with all the injuries, you need to be aggressive. You need to keep going for it. So we punted back to the Rams, and sure enough, they go right down the field again with a Puka Nacua touchdown. And it was also, I mean, the Niners offense, give them credit, they were resilient in this game, but we're down deep big, or we're down big early, 21-0, due to the Jawan Jennings fumble and Christian McCaffrey being stopped on 4th and 2. And it was clear early on. Like, I know a lot of these guys are stepping up, the rookies, Tatum Bethune, Upton Stout, but they were getting exposed. There was a 3rd and 6 on the 3rd possession for the Rams to go up 21-0, where initially Puka Nacua is no one's on him. And I was screaming at my TV, no one's on Puka Nacua, no one's on Puka Nacua. Sure enough, Upton Stout joins him right before they snap the ball. And I was like, that's way too late. And he's going to beat him. And sure enough, he did. And the Rams traditionally have always gone 11 personnel with 3 wide receiver sets. They went 13 personnel with 3 tight ends. and they knew they could go right at D. Winters and Tatum Bethune. It was guys like Davis Allen, Terrence Ferguson, going right after Luke Gifford on Mayo routes. You know what I'm talking about. The old Josh Allen where you go after the white linebackers. So, yeah, dude, this game went as expected. The 49ers, Kyle did enough offensively, but the Rams just couldn't be stopped. And in order, like, this is the most comfortable I've ever seen Matthew Stafford go up against the 49ers as a Rams quarterback. It kind of was reminiscent of the 2017, 2018 days when Kyle just started with the 49ers and Sean McVay was kicking his ass. And then things flipped in 2019. But, yeah, I can't say I was surprised. I think it just solidified my take all along that the Niners are a good team, not a great team. And when they play the better teams, the NFC, they're going to get boat raced.
The two things that stood out to me. Number one, you mentioned the personnel. 13 personnel. According to Next Gen Stats, I'm doing that thing, the Next Gen Stats thing.
You're also doing the tongue thing right now.
According to the Next Gen Stats, they ran 13 personnel over 40% of the time, which is like the most they have since 2016. So that marks the most in the Sean McVay era. You got to give him credit for that because I don't think Robert Saleh was necessarily ready for it. This was the first time where the defense just looked out of place. D. Winters getting forcing a penalty just because they weren't in dime when they didn't need a linebacker on the field, but rather they wanted either a cornerback or a safety. I just think they just outcoached him in that regard. Because Robert Saleh, for one thing, has always had these guys prepared, and the 49ers look completely overmatched, both in scheme and in personnel on Sunday. And overall, something I haven't really seen this Rams team do, it feels like they always do end up beating the 49ers with little finesse. Like, even that game, that Thursday night game, like, Matthew Stafford had pressure in his face, but he was still making some unbelievable throws.
Yeah.
It felt to me this was the first time where there was a clear mismatch in physicality. And I go back to the Jauan Jennings fumble. We're so focused. We are hyper-focused on Jauan Jennings actually fumbling that football in the first quarter. Oh, Jesus. But go back and just watch the blitz on that play and go look at Christian McCaffrey just getting blowed up, which you don't see very often when he's blocking for Mac Jones. Mac Jones got the throw off. He did his job. The point being, he got knocked on his ass. And This was the first time I've seen the Rams like legitimately just out physical a 49ers team that has formed its identity around physicality. Like, I heard a lot about them not figuring out what that is this year, the identity, really. And it's always been you can fall back on them being more physical. I always go back to this one Thursday night game. I think it was against the Seahawks, where George Kittle joined the desk and the post-game show. It was a couple of years ago.
Was this Brock Purdy's second start?
It might have been. And he just said, look, the thing is, we're just more physical than everybody. I keep using that word. I wish I could come up with a different one right now, but it's literally a word that's popping to mind because it's one that they always use. He's just like, we're more physical than everyone. And if you want to try and get in a fight with us, all right, you can give us your best shot, but we're always going to punch back. And we're probably just going to continue to throw haymakers. And we're going to play a physical brand of football. Yet this was the first time where I've seen the Rams just totally kind of, I don't want to say dominate necessarily, but offensively, just with that 13 personnel, just kind of pushing around different guys. Like Diamador Lenore getting knocked on his ass during that Puka Nacua touchdown. Different plays like that. That was kind of the key to me in this game. Beyond Matthew Stafford just looking otherworldly. Like, the dude's just, he's unflappable, man. He's just so accurate with the football. Every pass that he was making, the no-look pass into the end zone, there were a couple of drops, too, from those tight ends. I just thought they were more resilient and they were ready. And I just don't think the 49ers were. And the outcome went, I expected that, but I didn't expect 42 points to be hung on the 49ers defense. I just didn't.
I was not surprised by that. And as far as their ability to get Puka Nacua open with those screen routes, I mean, the downfield blocking by the wide receivers, like that's what we're talking about with the Raiders that they lack, where their wide receivers just light people up.
Yeah.
So Puka Nacua, he's a physical wide receiver, but also, I mean, the wide receivers that the Rams have right now, yes, they are more physical than the 49ers defensive backs. And they were outmatched, out schemed. Like in the red zone, they have Malik Mustafa lined up on Devontae Adams for that touchdown. I'm like, what is he doing on him? It's the personnel, it's a lack of defense, and that ultimately will be the Niners' undoing. But when did you think the game was over, Steven? Like, was it 21-0, or did you think that the Niners had a chance to come back in this game?
I think any team has a chance to come back when they go down that early. Like we've seen the Rams go up by that much and then the 49ers ultimately coming back. So I didn't think they were out of it then. No, really, when I thought they were out of it was when they were just trading touchdowns, specifically in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like when they went up 35-20, I'm like, all right, that's ball game. And maybe that's because of the timing of it. But it's a sport. It's football, man. Like, you never know. You never know. Like, you thought the Broncos were going to lose when they were down 19 points to the Giants, and then they ended up coming back in that fourth quarter. Like, anything can happen, especially with the 49ers team that was rolling on offense.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they even made it a 28-20 game, I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe it's this close. But the defense gets a few key stops, and they play a little bit of complimentary football for a specific time period, then, yeah, they gave themselves a chance. So, I didn't think it was over by any means when they were down 21-0. They just needed to get a couple of stops and a couple of scores.
I didn't think it was over 21-0 because they got back into the game and they answered with that touchdown. I thought that there was an opportunity for them to tie the game up in the third quarter where they're down 21-7 and they're driving before the half. And then they get a delay game penalty, and then Mac Jones kips a ball in the dirt, so they're not able to capitalize on that. And then they score on the opening drive coming out of halftime. But as soon as they converted on that 4th and 4 with Puka Nacua, where he picks it up twice, he initially crosses the first down marker and then does it again. I was like, there's no way they can stop them. So once they scored to make it 28-14, I was like, the Niners had their success in the second quarter, stopping them twice. But since that standpoint, in the third quarter, where they converted that 4th and 4 and got the touchdown with Devontae Adams, I was like, there's no way they could stop them.
Yeah.
They're just pick your poison right now. Matthew Stafford is just dissecting this defense. And right now, I know that Drake May is having a really good season. Matthew Stafford has to be your leader in the clubhouse for MVP. He's got 25 touchdown passes to 2 interceptions. And Matthew Stafford has been, I don't want to say like an underrated quarterback because he has a Super Bowl, but he's often slept on. And we talked a ton in the offseason about training camp, his back issues, and he looks mobile as hell. He looks nimble. This is the best I've seen him play just because he's usually turnover prone and he's not fumbling the ball or throwing interceptions. So he looks great right now.
Yeah. 3 straight games with 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. No other quarterback's done that.
No, I mean, it's incredible. And he's got, 2 great wide receivers and a complement of tight ends right now. So I think the Rams could be your best team in the NFC just because their only 2 losses are to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Niners. And when you look at some of the losses that other NFC teams have had, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the 49ers, I'll give them a ton of credit for staying in this game and Mac Jones having the performance he did. He's just so aware of everything on the field right now. Like that touchdown pass to Luke Farrell. Everything, like most quarterbacks would freak out and, run around. He stayed comfortable, stayed in the pocket. Guys were closing in on him, but at the last second, he throws the ball in the flat, and then Luke Farrell goes upfield. So what I'm saying is I think this offense can make them a playoff team, but it's not like, the Lions offense from a year ago. Like they're not going to have the ability to outscore teams 42-41. I don't see that happening. But I just think that, we're seeing the injuries take a toll right now. And the guys that have stepped up for the majority of the season, are now going to get exposed by better teams. I think this showed that if they are a 7th seed and they have to play the Lions or the Eagles or anybody else that we think are the best teams in the NFC, they're going to get rolled. So they're good enough because of Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh and Christian McCaffrey and even Mac Jones. But I think Sunday showed that they're not going to win. They're not going to win the NFC West, and they're not going to be this team that somehow gets through all through the adversity and wins the Super Bowl. That's not happening this season.
No, I guess not. But what do you think with the whole Mac Jones and Brock Purdy thing moving forward? Because
yeah,
I think the word controversy is kind of a trigger word.
It definitely is.
I think it's one where if you think, to me, when I hear controversy, I hear quarterback B that's creating a quarterback controversy for quarterback A. Well, quarterback B is going to take over for A as the starting quarterback. Like that's what I hear when I hear that there's a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco. Shout out to Dan Orlovsky. And I don't think that's the case, but I do subscribe to the notion that they need to keep riding with Jones, who's hot right now. I don't know if you're going to be getting the same Brock Purdy back if he's fully healthy and participating in practice and doing all these things. Because here's the dirty little secret. He wasn't playing that well going into this season, even before the injury. Like last year, he did not play well. Like he was fine. I thought he was okay, but he wasn't up to 2023 Brock Purdy standards, the one that earned him a $57 million contract or whatever it is, $53 million. I can't remember even now. But Mac Jones is just playing with so much confidence. Like I just think it's a situation where if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I don't think the thing that's broken right now is the quarterback. There's other things I'm looking at, like the fact that the tight end is just not as effective as a pass catcher anymore. Like if you go and look at George Kittle's yards per receptions, yards per targets, it's way down now. And they're using him in a lot of short yardage situations. He was awesome in this game.
Yeah.
But with the stat line that he had, like 9 receptions on 9 targets, I'm sorry, like 89 yards just isn't enough for a guy like Kittle. Like if he's in the 9 catch situation, like I expect him to be a little bit more than that. He was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but you're just not seeing them hit explosive plays with Kittle like they used to, at least so far in the last few games that they've been together. Christian McCaffrey said it all along. Like he's just not as explosive of a running back now. Like you're getting him so many touches and he's going to be doing the dirty work for you. But right now, like 12 carries for 12 carries for 30 yards. Like I don't really know what he is as a running back anymore. I know he's as versatile as a player as they come, and we're always going to hear that he has over 100 yards from scrimmage and those things and the touches. He's like the only player that we describe when it comes to him in his stats. It's the touches, right? And he still holds value there. Like there's certain things that you can nitpick, but one thing I'm not nitpicking from the 49ers offense is the play of the quarterback. I think he's been great.
Yeah, the running game is something that's perplexing because that's how Kyle Shanahan has been the offensive coordinator, or just that's how he got the job, was his ability to run the football. Like, yes, he made Matt Ryan into an MVP, but his zone blocking scheme, like that's how the 2019 team was able to put up so many points with 3 different running backs in Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida and Raheem Mostert. The fact that they can't run the ball, I think it's equal parts. Yes, that Christian McCaffrey's not as effective as a runner in between the tackles anymore, but the offensive line is just not great. Yeah, and they were actually having success in this game with Brian Robinson and Christian McCaffrey. If this was a closer game, they could have just, minimized the possessions of the Rams by running the football, but they were running out of time. Yeah. They already spotted them 21 points, so you can't come back in the game if you're just going to keep running the football like that. As far as the quarterback situation, I hear everybody about Mac Jones, but he has a job, and his job is to be the backup quarterback. It is telling that Brock Purdy is the type of quarterback with the national experts and the local guys and the fans all having this mentality of, yeah, but Mac Jones is playing pretty well right now. If this was any other quarterback that got the contract that Brock Purdy got, everyone's saying, yeah, but it's time to go back to Joe Burrow. It's time to go back to Trevor Lawrence. It's time to go back to this guy, that guy. That's just going to follow Brock Purdy no matter what. with him being the last pick in the draft and Mac Jones being a first round pick. I would say if
That's
they
interesting. So like, who cares what the answer is, and who cares whether you think Mac Jones or Purdy should be going? The idea that it's even like a talking point, that it's even a conversation. Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher.
Well, it's not, because Brock is Brock. Even though, locally we like to come up with these narratives like, I can't believe the national media is talking about him in this way. We are too. It's because he doesn't fit the mold. Even though he's, his story is similar to Tom Brady. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl right away. So that kills anything about Drew Bledsoe. He was shipped out of town right away. There's always going to be, yeah, Brock's good, but can he play with any other team? Is he that good? Could he be replaced by Mac Jones? We're having those conversations when the truth is they're just not going to do that. They're not going to bench Brock Purdy for Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Now, if you want my opinion on it, I don't know how Brock Purdy's going to look with this toe injury coming back. And if he struggles and you have to bench him for Mac Jones, then that's hard to tell the fans. That's hard to tell the media. And then a controversy could brew. But that's kind of manipulated by us. Like, I think truly behind closed doors, it's not even a question. They want Brock Purdy to play. They gave him the contract. So that's what they're going to do. And Mac Jones is comfortable with who he is. He's made a ton of money right now. Whether he's going to be more valuable as a backup quarterback or a starter next season, and they could trade him for draft capital, that's going to be interesting. But I think they made their bet a long time ago with Brock Purdy, and they have to stick by that. So we'll see what happens. If he practices tomorrow at full capacity, then it sounds like to me he's in line to play.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't like this week, though, I don't like his injury being compared to Joe Burrow. I think that's lame. I think that Burrow, he had a severe grade 3 toe injury, turf toe, where that required surgery right away. And we don't know if Joe Burrow is coming back. I understand that they made a big spectacle of it on social media where he comes back and we saw the video and he's at practice. He's limited. He's talking about he wants to come back for the Thanksgiving game. He's got 3 weeks. And I think it's pushed back, kind of like Brandon Ayuk. I think it's something to, motivate the team. But it's not a foregone conclusion that Joe Burrow is coming back. And if they keep losing, the Bengals, then why would they bring him back? I don't think it's fair to say, like, well, Joe Burrow's in line to play, so why wasn't, the same process done with Brock Purdy? Why didn't he have surgery on his toe? We don't know anything about that. We don't know. It sounds like to me that Brock didn't need surgery. And then he played that Jacksonville Jaguars game and had a setback, but it wasn't severe enough for him to get surgery. So I don't like comparing the two injuries. I know that they're two starting quarterbacks and they both have turf toe, and it's held them out a long time now. But they're two different players. They're two different toes. So I don't like the comparison there. But as far as Brock or Mac, I think it's clear. It's going to be Brock Purdy if Kyle decides it's going to be, and if Brock's good enough to play. It's just a matter of, is Mac Jones good enough to be a starting quarterback on a different team this offseason, or is he going to come back as the backup quarterback? But make no mistake about it, Mac Jones has played great and does not deserve to be benched. It's just his role right now.
Yeah, but his role's also winning them games. And if you're asking me who gives them a better chance to win games right now, I'd probably give it to Mac over Brock.
Just because of what you've seen from last season and the few games this year?
Yeah. Yeah, and him coming back from that's a huge risk. The only reason Joe Burrow's thinking about coming back is because, well, Joe Flacco's the only option. Whereas Mac Jones, now you have this Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones-like figure where everyone's written him off. And I think something that's really interesting about his time now with the 49ers compared to, I don't know, say when there were rumors that they wanted to draft him in 2021. Maybe they did, but he's in such a different headspace now. I think that's one thing that's really been impressive with hearing him talk to the media. And he's kind of what's the word that I'm trying to go with here? He's kind of
relaxed,
just referenced it, I guess, but just the work that he's done in his career to improve himself mentally. And that's speaking with team psychologists, team doctors, It's something that he's alluded to. That's the word I was looking for. Alluded to with damn near every press conference, talking about like his development just as a quarterback. He's saying, well, yeah, I've also changed as a person. And I used to get in my own head when I was a rookie. And who knows what that would have been like had the 49ers drafted him in 2021. And I think the 49ers kind of got him in the right place at the right time. And this thing with Brock Purdy, it's interesting because sure, his role is a backup quarterback, but he's not playing like a backup quarterback normally would. That's the problem. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's his role, but like, so what?
Yeah, I know. So what? I'm like, it's good fodder for sports talk radio and this podcast, but in reality, like, do you see them doing that, Steven? Like, they already gave him the contract, and they've let it be known that Brock's going to play if he's healthy.
Yeah, I know. If he has 3 strong practices this week, then Brock's gonna probably be going. I just think that's heading towards disaster, really.
It potentially could, but
Especially if they lose to Arizona.
Well, I'll say this. If there's a different backup quarterback right now, like Brock or Mac Jones has been the best backup quarterback they've had in quite some time. If Brandon Allen's on the roster or Josh Dobbs, who knows what they would be right now. But at the same time, whether it's Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, I don't think it matters at this point. I think the defense is such a liability that I don't think it matters who the starting quarterback is. I think that they're going to have to just keep scoring and scoring and scoring in order to stay in games.
Yeah.
So you can look at the schedule and say they should beat Arizona, they should beat Carolina, they should beat Cleveland. I'm not so sure. I don't think anything's a foregone conclusion with the rest of their schedule right now. Yes, they should beat Tennessee, but besides that, like I'm circling the Week 17 game against the Chicago Bears. That's on Sunday Night Football too. So that might be your game that determines who gets that final 7 spot in the NFC.
Yeah, that's going to be a fascinating one.
Yep.
I think they'll be fine as far as getting to the playoffs, but I think their offense can only take them so far. With the way that George Kittle was talking, it's just, I believe this offense could overcome anything from our defense. Like, this is a roundabout way of Kittle saying, we only have offense. Like, our defense stinks right now. He's not going to say that. But when he's saying, I think our offense can put up a ton of points, play good football, because I love football. I'm a big football. I love football. And we're going to go out there and play good football. He repeats football a lot. I just slobbered.
Well, you had a lot of hot sauce.
Yeah. Saliva. But point being, he's doing everything in his power to not say, like, look, our offense is the only thing we got right now to win games. The lack of a defense is only going to take them so far. So maybe this quarterback conversation isn't worth having, but the fact that it's even being had, I don't know if that's saying something to just how good Mac Jones has been, or as far as the lack of trust in the guy they gave a huge $265 million contract to.
Well, I don't think there's a lack of trust from Kyle and John at this point, but if they go with Mac the rest of the way, and we don't see Brock Purdy at all this season, then they need to trade Mac Jones, because all we're going to hear this offseason is Mac Jones should be the guy going forward. And some people will argue for Brock Purdy. I think they're doing this because Brock needs to play some good football for the first time in a while. Yeah. Like, he had the game winner against the Seattle Seahawks week 1, and that easily could have been an interception, the one he threw to Jake Tonjes. But they need to get some confidence back at Brock Purdy and have it go forward to next season. So I understand why they're doing this to a degree, but if it backfires or he's not playing well and they hang on to Mac Jones in the offseason, that's when the controversy actually starts.
Yeah.
If Mac Jones stays on the roster this offseason and we're going to training camp where they won't say anything, like, he'll still be the backup quarterback, but there's a lot of noise from us and fans, then it's a controversy. Right now it's not a controversy, but it could be.
Yeah, and maybe they're not bringing him out there because it gives them the best chance to win. Maybe they do think that, but maybe there's also the case of, we got to see what we have here, because Shanahan and Lynch, for all the good that they've done, how can we say that they're good at finding a franchise quarterback? Because they've just moved on. They have just moved on from Jimmy. They made the pick for Trey Lance. They just moved on from him. And if Purdy maybe underperforms, I don't think they'd be afraid of even just moving on there. But also that could be the nail in the coffin for their time in this in the red and gold here with these two.
People say that. People brought up yesterday on our show, Dirty Work, that how did Kyle survive trading away 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance? And I'm like, we're still bringing that up? Like, they found a way to still win. And I know that will be an indictment on him, but honestly, like, you didn't see any slowdown for the 49ers.
Right.
They still went to the NFC Championship game. They went to the Super Bowl in 2023. It did not affect them whatsoever. So I don't think
how it's because they selected Purdy.
Exactly. But my thing is, you just said like it may end their time in the red and gold if they have to move off of Purdy. I don't know. I mean, they've always landed on their feet when it comes to quarterbacks, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but would you put it out of the realm of possibility that they could trade Brock Purdy in time?
Yeah, no, I guess not.
I mean, I think it's a possibility. I think that if Mac Jones stays on the roster, if they think that he's more valuable as a backup quarterback than the draft capital they could get from this offseason, then it's in play. But I do wonder how many teams will be willing to pick up Brock Purdy's contract if he's slipping.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Whatever these big contracts are given out, it feels like that quarterback is stuck with that team. And the team that does pay him would have to trade him, but also take on the rest of the contract and just pay that money to that team or just buy him out.
Exactly. That's why I think it's going to be very interesting this offseason when it comes to Kyler Murray or Tua, because both those quarterbacks got contracts. I think everybody outside of covering that team was like, I don't know if you should do that. I don't know if you should have an addendum, a study addendum in a contract about how much time he devotes to his playbook if you're going to pay him $44 million a year. I don't know if you should give Tua $53 million a year. I don't know about that. But I think both teams want to move on now. It's kind of crazy how many teams now don't even think about the ramifications of a contract. Like, we'll just pay him and then we'll figure it out later. Yeah, and then you're stuck.
Yeah. I don't know. 49ers are in an okay place, though. And maybe that's too far-fetched. Like, I could see, if anything, I'd see John Lynch being on the move quicker than Kyle Shanahan. Like, it doesn't always have to be a package deal.
No, we're seeing that right now.
Like, that's just that's like a massive hypothetical that won't happen for at least, I'd probably say 2 seasons if that does happen. Yeah. But I'd feel like if there was one to go, it would probably be John Lynch first.
I think that Kyle's more valuable, yes. And yeah, you were seeing it right now where Brian Daboll's fired and Joe Shane sticks around. Saw it a couple weeks ago where Chris Greer with the Miami Dolphins is let go, but Mike McDaniel sticks around. So it's not a package deal anymore when it comes to trading or firing the head coach and GM simultaneously.
Damn.
But let's talk about the week that was, week 10 in the NFL. Just real quick, Steven. At this point, who's the best team in the NFL in your opinion?
Well, actually, this was going to be, I was actually going to ask you a different question.
Okay.
To start this out. Who do I think is the best team in the NFL?
I'll give you an answer. I don't know.
I'd love to say the Colts, but in my heart, I think it's the Lions. I don't know what it is. I think it's the Lions.
I can't say 100% it's the Lions either right now. I think it should be the Lions. It could be the Eagles. But I think I'm basing that off of last year.
Yeah.
The teams that are playing the best football are the Patriots, the Colts, and the Broncos.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me, do I believe in any of those teams? No, I don't. Not at all.
So here's where I'm kind of coming away here. It's kind of been an underwhelming season so far.
How so?
It's just, I know we're going to get into what happened with Josh Allen. It's just, you got your reigning MVP who kind of just looks lost. He's back into this deer in a headlights look, which we haven't really seen since what's his face was the offensive coordinator and he went ballistic up in the booth.
Oh, Ken Dorsey?
Ken Dorsey. Thank you. I was thinking of like which Miami quarterback. I was like, Bernie Kosar, Ken Dorsey. Yeah. So we're seeing that. You're seeing the emergence of Drake May and Sam Darnold, and you're seeing the Colts become kind of a powerhouse. It's really cool to watch them. And then the Lions are doing Lions things. But I'm also looking at the MVP like Josh Allen and the Bills just not playing up to whatever potential you feel like they could have before the season, which was Super Bowl potential for you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh yeah.
The Ravens are starting to come back, but they were playing without Lamar Jackson for a while. Joe Burrow's been hurt, and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're getting back into things, but they're still just 5-4. And Justin Herbert, you'd want him to be playing like an MVP, which he kind of has been, but everyone on his team is hurt.
Yeah.
So you just don't know what the Chargers are going to look like. Like the way the games are structured, you're bound to get some really exciting games, right? Like it's just it's just the nature of football. You're bound to get some that end towards the fourth quarter. But as far as the product that's been going on the field, like I think AJ Cruz said it on Saturday, and I mentioned to him before the show, like I was going to bring this talking point up. I just don't know how good it's been so far. Now they have 7 weeks to make it up, but it's just nothing where it's made me think, God, I can't wait to watch football this next week.
I would say there's more parity this season. I don't think it's been a bad product. I don't think we're getting bad games by any means. Like there's been seasons where I feel it deep down inside me, but I won't admit it to you or anybody else because I love football. But there's bad seasons of football. I'm like, this isn't good football right now. But I can't say that for this season. I just think that we're getting a lot of inconsistent play. I think we're getting teams that look great, like the Buffalo Bills a week ago against the Chiefs, and then this week they get blown out by the Miami Dolphins. You see the Green Bay Packers before the season starts, you think, oh my God, they're going to be a juggernaut with Micah Parsons. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, and then they look like dog shit the last 2 weeks offensively. I just think that it's a lot of inconsistency.
Does that parity come from the bad teams getting better? I think it more comes from the fact that the teams we thought were going to be good and shoo-ins to reach the playoffs, they haven't been as we thought.
Well, I think it's that the teams that we thought were going to be really good may be like your wild card teams. And the teams that are going to be your number one seeds might be your Denver Broncos or your Colts. But I'm sorry, I'm not buying Daniel Jones and Drake May and Bo Nix as Super Bowl contenders. I'm just not. Now, there's, for me, the playoffs are predicated by quarterbacks. And I can't buy those guys with their inexperience. I'm still buying Josh Allen. I'm still buying Patrick Mahomes. I'm buying Jared Goff. I'm buying Jalen Hurts. And I'll say this now. I'll bring it up a little later in the podcast. I am not buying Jordan Love. I'm not right now. Yep. It's very disappointing. Hurts me to say that too. But you brought up the Bills. They get routed by the Miami Dolphins. And I can't say I'm surprised, but you figured like them beating the Chiefs, they would have a little more life than they did. And I just think the Dolphins are playing with no pressure right now. Maybe for Mike McDaniel because he doesn't want to lose his job, obviously, but a little more free. They're coming off the Thursday night game where they got trampled by the Baltimore Ravens. And Miami had a good game plan against Buffalo earlier this year when they played on Thursday Night Football. But I just thought that the Bills have problems defensively. Like they don't have Ed Oliver. Maxwell Hairston, their rookie, looked pretty good against the Chiefs, but he got exposed in this game with Jalen Waddle going after him. And it's clear with the Buffalo Bills, if you shut down their running game, then offensively they're out of sync. And that was not the case back in the day when Brian Daboll or Ken Dorsey were the offensive coordinators. It was a very simplistic offense that just had Josh Allen running around and throwing deep to Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. But I will say when the offense is when the offense is so orchestrated like it is with Joe Brady, when you shut down one element of the offense, then everything's out of sync. Then Josh can't rely on a go-to guy. Like Keon Coleman's too inconsistent. Khalil Shakir has a hard time getting off of separation. They really need Josh Palmer, a very underrated wide receiver for them, but he's hurt. The tight ends, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid are a little banged up. And you wish that Josh would, it kind of looks like the way it did in Atlanta earlier this year for Josh Allen in this game, where you see glimpses of him from back in the day, the Josh Allen that was with Brian Daboll, where he just had to elevate everybody else's play and just do it on his own. Like there was a play in this game where it was a 3rd and long, he just runs around the whole time and then finds Keon Coleman right at the end, but then he throws an interception in the end zone.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing where Josh has bought into Joe Brady's scheme, where it's less aggressive. It's based on the first 15 and the running game being effective. Then you play off of that with play action fakes. And when that's not working, then Josh is trying to improvise like he did with Brian Daboll, and he doesn't have the receivers for that right now.
Right. You go to the defense too, like you mentioned. Do you know how many plays it took them to score 3 touchdowns? They had the drive in the first quarter, regular. It was just 12 plays, 92 yards. You go downfield.
Yeah.
You know how many plays it took them to score their next 3 touchdowns?
Quite a bit.
8.
Oh, Miami you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 plays to score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, the Bills defense is in trouble right now.
That's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
There's something weird about the team's post-trade deadline, too. It's like we're always looking at the Jets. We're always looking at the we called that one, by the way. We're always looking at the Jets. We're always looking at the Dolphins and saying, you know what, this was going to be a fire sale. What's the point of even watching this team anymore? And they just pick back up and win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins get blown out next week, if they have a game next week. I don't know if they're on a bye or what.
Oh, I think they're playing. Yeah, they have Madrid.
Oh, Madrid.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to get blown out.
By the Commanders?
Yeah.
With who?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I mean, defensively, the Commanders are terrible right now.
Bill.
So the Bills lose. I'm still high on them. I get it. Like, it was a bad loss, but as long as they have Josh, I think they can find a way. And I'll say this though, I'm not as confident that they're gonna win the division right now. Yeah. I think the Patriots, that was very impressive to go into Tampa Bay and run the football like they did with Travion Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
And Drake May is not phased whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it helps to have Mike Vrabel. Like, this guy has changed the culture of that franchise. A year ago, Gerard Mayo was calling out his team for being soft, and you got Bill Belichick calling him out on the Pat McAfee show. Now Vrabel's like, whatever you thought of me in Tennessee, I'm bringing that culture over, and it wins. It gets results. The aggressiveness of going forward on 4th and goal right before half when they're down 10-7 and they throw a touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs, and they just bought into Mike Vrabel. Like, Travion Henderson on that long touchdown run to pretty much clinch the game. I like that he looked at the sideline to be like, should I go down? He probably should have. But no, the coach told him to score, and he did.
Yeah.
So
shout out to ESPN for equating that to The Incredibles when Dash is in that final track meet.
Yeah.
And they're telling him he should slow down, keep it close. You don't want to come off too fast. You don't want people knowing that we all have these superpowers. So just keep it close.
Yeah, that's not bad. And they're not phased at all by the Bills. Like, I thought it was telling in the post-game interview, Tracy Wolf called Tracy Wolf or Tracy Wolfson? Wolfson. She interviews Drake May, and they're like, she's like, by the way, did you happen to see that the Bills lost to the Dolphins today? And he's like, we don't care about the we don't care about the Bills. We don't care about the Bills at all. We're just care about what's in front of us. And I'm like, they don't care about the Bills. They've beaten them. I think Mike Vrabel probably has told them, like, I know how to beat them. They're not anything special. They haven't won anything in this league. They always lose to the Chiefs. I think the Patriots don't give a fuck about the Bills or anybody else in the AFC. So I think they have a good mentality. And as Tony Romo said, they're DTF, man. They are disciplined. I forget everything he used in that, but he dropped a DTF on national TV.
It's a little too much.
Do you think that he meant to do that? Like, he knew what he was doing with the joke, or he was just totally oblivious to what DTF means?
No, he knows what DTF means.
Do you think so?
Yes, I am 1,000% positive he knows.
So you just think he was being funny?
Yes.
Well,
I'm trying to reach him.
Yeah, it's all about the details, the toughness, and they finish.
Yep.
And Jim Nantz was like, well, that's a thing that Mike Vrabel brings up in the meetings and whatnot. But it was awkward. I don't know if you saw the rest of the broadcast, Steven. At the very end, Tony Romo goes, Jim, just got to say one thing. I gave a shout out to my lovely wife who's watching right now. Love you, sweetheart. I was like, did he feel obligated to bring that up because he said DTF on the broadcast?
I don't know about that one. Dude, just big plays. Big plays from the Patriots. Drake May's a lot of fun to watch. He's super accurate. Like you said, fearless. It just feels like they're really within their own right now. Like, who cares what the outside is saying about us if we don't have the talent? Because that's what I thought. I didn't think they were going to be this good.
No, definitely. And then as far as the two AFC South teams, I mean, we just brought it up earlier. The Colts, they could have easily lost this game, but crazy looking Daniel Jones with his bloody teeth picks up it was a 3rd and 20, and he picks up 19 yards to keep that drive alive. Goes to Tyler Warren, kicks a field goal to tie the game up to go to overtime. It was probably the most fun international game, the best international game we've seen this season, where it was back and forth offensively. Michael Penix had a better performance. Drake London really good. I will say, I know it's early. They just acquired him, and it was on he got traded to them on Tuesday and had to go to Berlin. But Sauce Gardner, if you're worth 2 first-round picks, you got to shut down Drake London on that 2-point conversion, man.
Yeah.
But regardless, Jonathan Taylor should be in your MVP discussion, but he won't be because he's a running back, so most likely Offensive Player of the Year. But 3 touchdowns, 244 yards. The Colts, yeah, they're going to be your AFC South champions, especially with what happened with the Jaguars and Texans. But yeah, really good performance by the Colts on Sunday.
Yeah, dude. I don't think though, if had it not been Jonathan Taylor and what he did, like, I don't know what this score would have looked like.
Yeah.
Really, they weren't that great overall. Like Michael Penix, you said he played better. He was 12 for 28. He wasn't very good.
Maybe it just felt like he was better.
Yeah. I mean, I respect the not looking at the box score, but I remember reading up a little bit this morning that Michael Penix just isn't living up to. Well, he's actually living up to exactly what people thought, which is that he should have been a day 2 pick instead of a first rounder taken by the Falcons early last year. But yeah, they were, let me look at this again. I want to make sure I get this right. Overall, they were 2 for 20 on 3rd down.
The Colts were?
Both of them.
Oh,
Falcons
wow.
were 0 for 8. Colts were 2 for 12.
Jesus Christ. All right.
We always talk
still
about
a fun game, Steven.
We always talk about defenses not being able to get off the field on 3rd down. They couldn't stay on the field on 3rd down.
Well, I think the Colts play a brand of football that I don't know if it's going to translate well to the postseason. I think that obviously they could run the football, you need to, but I don't know how they're going to be outside the dome. I think that some of their best performances this season have been in a dome, as they are a dome team, but
yeah,
going to LA and the offensive explosiveness that they have. But when you have to get into a defensive slugfest, how is Daniel Jones going to respond like he did in the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers? So
that's the big question. I think Shane Steichen can get him away from, keep him away from becoming like the turnover laden DJ that we've seen.
Yeah.
The kind of ironic Danny Dimes when we gave him that nickname. But instead, I think Steichen's going to be able to keep him out of harm's way. But yeah, they can only do so much if the defense just happens to figure it out. Like, what can Daniel Jones do if the game comes down to what the quarterback needs to do?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they might just totally outcoach them, out-scheme them, outplay them, whatever. But yeah, if it comes down to it and you need the quarterback to make the play, is Daniel Jones going to be able to do that on the big stage? I don't know.
Yeah. And you're right. Jonathan Taylor is carrying this team. If he goes down with an injury, I don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
But it's all because of him. He's playing better than he did in his 2021 season where he had the rushing title. So, yeah, they're a good team. They're definitely going to win the AFC South, but I don't know how they are as a contender. And speaking of the AFC South, good Lord. The Jags were lucky to get that 1-point win against the Raiders, and then they just pissed down their leg this game against the Texans, where they were leading 29-10. Trevor Lawrence is doing his usual stat line of he's having an okay game, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It's really the defense and the running game that's playing well for the Jaguars right now. But in the fourth quarter, they allow 26 points, and they lose the game 36-29 with Davis Mills. They weren't doing anything offensively. And then Davis Mills, they score a touchdown. They get a 2-point conversion, score another touchdown. And then on a 3rd and long, he uses his legs, slow-ass Davis Mills with his long neck to get in the end zone. And Danielle Hunter went off of this game for 3.5 sacks, but good Lord, that could be a season-collapsing loss for the Jaguars, where they were looking good, and then they get blown out by the Rams. They come back and have a better performance against the Raiders, but barely won that game. And then this game, this could define their season if they don't, figure things out. And I don't know what was up with the clock management in the end, but they were down, what was it, 30, what did the score to be? It would be 20 or 30-29. And they're on their own 35-yard line with like 7 seconds left. So were they hoping to, I don't think they had any timeouts. So were they hoping to get a quick pass from Trevor Lawrence to somebody along the sideline and get him in field goal range for Cam Little, who can make a 70-yard field goal? And then Trevor Lawrence just holds on the ball way too long, and Will Anderson comes over and strip sacks him. Sheldon Rankins gets the fumble recovery. Liam Cohen's face said it all. It was like, dude, what are you doing? This is where, like, I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is a good fit with Liam Cohen. I don't know about Jordan Love's fit with Matt LaFleur. I just, sometimes when you find an offensive coordinator or an offensive play caller to go with the quarterback that you're hoping to get to the next level, sometimes it shows that the quarterback's just not good enough in the new scheme.
Yeah, and this feels like a situation that's a little bit like, I don't know, actually it might not equate to the same thing, because the Giants did end up giving him a contract. But, we're going back to Daniel Jones. This kind of feels like a situation where they've got this offensive mastermind, supposedly, from the Buccaneers, the same way the Bills ended up giving Brian Daboll to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And now now Cohen, I think, wants to go with a new quarterback. And I hate that that's kind of the end game that we have here. But it's just too common where you see Trevor Lawrence, he has all the physical tools in the world. Like, he's big, he's quick. And you saw them a couple of years ago that kind of earned him the contract, but you've seen such a regression now. I just don't know where they go from here. It just doesn't feel like they can keep moving forward with him. It just doesn't.
It doesn't, and it goes back to the week 2 game where Liam Cohen's telling him on the sideline, like, hit the receivers in the chest, and Trevor Lawrence's like, shut the fuck up, dude. I know what I'm doing, but he's been highly inaccurate.
Told you, that was something earlier where, it didn't seem like anything. But I think it's a moment we can go back to where that was really the start of kind of this deterioration in this coach-quarterback relationship.
Maybe he needs another season with Liam Cohen. It is the first year in this new scheme, but it's not looking great right now. Even though they could be a winning team, I think they're winning. This is crazy to say. They're winning in spite of Trevor Lawrence, which is nuts. Speaking of Brian Daboll, the game with the Giants and the Bears, Brian Daboll had another fourth quarter lead. They were leading 20-10 when they really should have gone up by 2 scores. And this is why I think Brian Daboll lost his job, was the fact that they were up 17-10 in the fourth quarter. And 2 weeks in a row now, I thought that Daboll was too conservative with his play calling. I thought that the game against the Niners, he's down 20-7 on the 3-yard line, 4th and goal, and he kicks the field goal to make it 20-10. Why not put more pressure on the defense? You were having your way with them for a little bit. There was, there were moments where the defense played better against the Giants for the 49ers, but try to go for it. Go 20-14, get a stop with, your pretty good pass rush. Instead, they, kind of give in. It's 27-10, and they can't get back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So in this game, I understand that Jackson Dart went down with an injury, but you got Russell Wilson and you're on the 1-yard line. Why not go up 2 scores and make it that much harder for the Bears? He kicks the field goal on the 1-yard line and make it 20-10. And sure enough, the Bears come back to win it 24-20. And then the next day, Brian Daboll is fired. And I'm not surprised. I think that maybe Daboll is a better play caller or an offensive coordinator than head coach. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Joe Brady leaves this offseason to be a head coach, that Daboll goes back to the Bills to be Josh's offensive coordinator. But it was time. And I think that Joe Shane, even though people give him a ton of shit for the Saquon Barkley departure and him signing with the Eagles, Saquon never wanted to sign back with the Giants. I think Shane's done a good job trading for Brian Burns and drafting Abdul Carter. So it makes sense that he stays for now. It's just going to be very important of who they decide to be the next head coach, because Jackson Dart is a pretty good talent. So good win for the Bears. It was a matter of time that Brian Daboll was going to be fired.
Yeah, and also that little thing in the injury tent. Not to mention that.
Yeah, that too. He was a little nutso then.
Yeah, putting his quarterback in harm's way. But also this kind of shows that the Bears are a different team too. Pulling off a fourth quarter comeback like that. I don't know how many times they would have won that game. I mean, I don't blame it all on Daboll. I get where you're coming from, but the Bears also had to score on a couple of possessions in that situation. And Caleb Williams, even though he's been looking erratic for most of his career, there's times where he looks extremely comfortable, and he did in that fourth quarter.
Yep. All right, the Lions and Seahawks blow out their opponents 44-22, same exact score. Lions beating up on the Commanders, 3 touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs. The Seahawks beating up on the Arizona Cardinals, 2 touchdowns from DeMarcus Lawrence on fumble recoveries. It only took like 12 passes for Sam Darnold to explode offensively for the Seahawks. They didn't even use Rashid Shaheed yet, so can't imagine what that offense is going to look like when they use their full complement of receivers.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the best offense in the NFC right now, Steven, between the Lions and Seahawks? Or can you throw the Rams in there too?
For now, I'm going to give it to the Lions.
Okay.
I just think there's too much talent across the board. I think the Seahawks have been awesome, but if you're going to ask me in a vacuum, I'd take the Lions right now.
Yeah, I would too. I think that the Lions are more proven, and yeah, I mean, give kudos to Dan Campbell. Like, we kind of make it out to be where he's a meathead and just kind of a CEO coach. But when it's time to take over as a play caller, he'll do that. That's what happened with this weekend, where Johnny Morton was, I guess, having a disconnect with the rest of the offense and kind of not taking accountability for the way the offense played against the Vikings. So Dan Campbell was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And the offense looked great. I can't imagine that that's going to be a full-time thing, but that was interesting that I don't think Nick Sirianni does that. I don't think a lot of coaches, even defensive coaches, don't put on the headset and call the defensive plays, although Dan Quinn's going to do that now with the Commanders. But, yeah, I thought that was pretty telling by Dan Campbell that he has that ability when he wants to. He can pick up the headset and doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. The post-game press conference, he downplayed it, but that was big time for him to do that.
Yeah, man. And I'm kind of surprised at that, honestly. I didn't think that would happen. Like, when I just saw Dan Campbell taking over play calling, I didn't think that was I didn't think that was in his bag. And I know he was a former offensive guy, but
but he was, a tight ends coach, and he learned offense from Sean Payton. And
sure.
I mean, I guess he told, Ben Johnson and Johnny Morton how he wanted to play offensively. So maybe he was the true, maestro of the offense. The mastermind.
Wow.
But I remember his first season, Anthony Lynn was his OC, and then he fired him and took over play calling duties. So he has that in his bag, but it shows that he's more than just the motivator or the tough guy in the press conferences. He's actually could get down with the X's and O's.
Yeah.
As far as the AFC North, Steelers, I'm surprised that defense did not just wreak havoc on Justin Herbert without his offensive tackles. But Herbert's more mobile than Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers just, dude, it's hard to watch sometimes, man. Like, he has the ability to throw, but as far as his mobility and moving in the pocket, just Khalil Mack was just eating him up for lunch, and the rest of the guys on that Chargers defense. And then the Baltimore Ravens, that wasn't a big surprise. Just J.J. McCarthy looked good against the Bears and Lions this season, but he's definitely, had his moments where it's like, okay, this guy needs some work. And now the Ravens have won 3 in a row. The Steelers have lost, I believe, 3 of their last 4. So who do you think's more likely to win the division at this point, Steven?
Ravens. Watch out for the defense. They got Lamar Jackson back, but the defense, if you look at it, these last couple of years, they've been notorious for getting off to slow starts. And now they're starting to kind of return to what we thought the Ravens defense could have been, at least what I thought they could have been heading into the Super Bowl. They haven't allowed over 20 points in these 3 wins. I know they've only played the Bears and the Dolphins before playing the Vikings, but still the Vikings seem to be rolling with number 9, JJ McCarthy, as he stares.
Number 9.
Number 9. Wonder if he knows that Beatles song.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Thank you. So I would give it to the Ravens right now because the Steelers are just uninspiring. That's what
I hear you. And look, this was a thing with Aaron Rodgers back with the Green Bay Packers, but I'm getting sick of his faces. and dude, you brought it up. You nailed it when I give it till where like how long until Aaron Rodgers starts making faces at DK Metcalf? It can't be all on the offensive line and the receivers. It has to be on you too. I think he realizes that. I think it was hard for him, playing against the Chargers. He's, lives in LA and he's getting his ass kicked and he has limitations. Like, there was a moment where he threw a deep pass to DK Metcalf and overthrew him. But I didn't know if that was on him or if that was on DK. I was hoping Chris Collinsworth would go in more depth on that play, but I would say between the two, though, I guess I would give it to the Ravens, more likely to win the division. But I think both teams are playing the last game of the season, and I can see the Steelers winning that game. I think it's in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they won that. I think they still stay afloat. I think their defense is good enough. They just picked up today Asante Samuel Jr., so that's going to help them in the secondary. I'll say Steelers for now. But, yeah, the Ravens are definitely going back to what they looked like a year ago.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I think Draymond Jones acquiring him was pretty big for the defensive line. I think, just trust me on it, Ravens are going to be taking the division.
All right, okay.
I'm confident.
And then lastly, the Monday night game. Give me your thoughts on it, Steven.
Well, I didn't really watch it. I only caught the highlights today because obviously I got YouTube TV, so I couldn't watch it. But the play calling, particularly towards the end of the game, was gross. It was gross. I mean, what's the point of going for it on 4th down?
You talking about with Sirianni?
The Eagles, that is.
Yeah.
When you're up 10-7 and you have a chance just to punt it when you're 4th and 6, or even try and kick a field goal. I don't know. Even trying to go up 13-7. I know it's risky to kick what it would have been a nearly 55-yarder. I think it would have been a 53-yarder or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I know that's risky, right? But then there's also Matt LaFleur and just calling these super just milquetoast runs with Josh Jacobs where it's just, how is this even going to work? And the Eagles knew it was coming. It was just ugly football.
Yeah, I think that it was equal parts good defense. And you have to give credit to the Eagles because Vic Fangio had a good game plan. And, they had the bye week. And coming out of it, they knew what they were getting into with the Packers. And the Packers defense has been awesome. Like, if they had the offense from a year ago and they had the defense they currently have, like you and I were talking last year, like they had 0 pass rush. Now with Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons and even their secondary, they play really good defense. But the offense, it's not to the same degree, but I think the Packers are kind of like the Niners where they're decimated with injuries on offense. And when you don't have Jaden Reed and really Tucker Kraft and your offensive line is banged up, and we could tell you from watching Niner games, Aaron Banks is not that good. They gave him a ton of money. I would say that the Packers are compromised offensively, but that does not excuse the play of Jordan Love at times. Like, I'm watching guys do X's and O's in all 22 tape on Jordan Love, there are things there for him. He just doesn't have the patience in the pocket. He gets spooked by the offensive line crumbling around him. And if the same situation happens to a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen, they know that they have to move around a bit. And Jordan Love lacks the mobility sometimes to just stay in the pocket, move around, elude defenders, and then find a Romeo Doubs, and then find a Christian Watson. But I will say, not having those guys on crucial possessions, not having Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden being out for this game, you're playing with Bo Melton, like that does bite you in the ass. So I think it's equal parts the play of Jordan Love, the personnel that he's playing with, and Matt LaFleur's coaching. But there were moments like the 4th and 9 play that they go for in the second half. He hits Bo Melton right on the chest, and Bo Melton just drops it.
Yeah.
I hear people when it comes to the Matt LaFleur play calling. I don't think he has a lot of options, though, because they don't have their big-time playmakers. He knows that Jordan Love's not seeing the field right now. So he dials up all these running plays because he can rely on Josh Jacobs. But when it's time for play-action fakes, there's nothing downfield for Jordan Love. So he just waits, and then throws in the flat to a running back. And the problem with the Packers is they have these long, methodical drives, and then they never result in anything. They can't rely on their kicker because Brandon McManus has a quad injury. They have another kicker on the roster they don't even use. And that's an indictment on Matt LaFleur. But I'm not going to say that he should be fired by any means. Like, that narrative today was stupid as hell. I'm sorry, but like anybody that argues that Kyle Shanahan should be fired or Matt LaFleur because he has one bad season where the offense doesn't score points, like look at Matt LaFleur's track record. But prior to this season, he's only had one losing season. So I think that's crazy. I will say, the final drive. What the hell are you laughing about?
Just been going on for 5 minutes about the Packers. You're super passionate about it.
Yeah, it's because I stake my reputation on Jordan Love, and it's fucking blowing up in my face. On the final drive, where it was the 4th and 1, or not the final drive, the second to last. It should have been the final drive, but the second to last drive.
Holy shit!
The Packers are facing a 4th and 1, and they've run this zone running play right up the middle that's worked, when they're doing no huddle. And the Eagles defender right away says, zone run, zone run, zone run. And no one adjusts. Even Josh Jacobs heard him, and he's like, well, we could power through it probably. It's a soft box. And Jordan Love thought the same thing. Where a better quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers would check out of the play, kill. The cornerbacks of the Eagles are playing so off that if you check that play, just throw a quick little pass to whoever on the outside, a Christian Watson, and pick up the first down. As you brought up with Nick Sirianni in the 4th and 6 play, I get that's a play that has had success this season when they throw deep to A.J. Brown. They just want to, put the nail in the coffin as far as getting the win. But that's a dumbass play. Like for a 4th and 6 and how risky that is on a deep pass where you haven't had much success through the air for most of the game. Only Devontae Smith had your best play through the air. Just punt it. Just the Packers haven't done shit all day offensively. Just punt the football. That's where Nick Sirianni loses me, where, yes, he does enough. He's a good delegator to his coordinators, but what the fuck are you doing? That was dumb. You could have lost the game easily on that.
Well, he won the Super Bowl, so I think we had to it was less than a year ago we were having the conversation about how we need to put more respect on Nick Sirianni's name.
Yeah, I know, but Jesus Christ.
This is what he does.
Yeah, I know, but I know that Dan Campbell's aggressive with his 4th down decisions, but it's a 4th and 6. If you're going to run a 4th and 6, maybe something over the middle, maybe something that moves the chains.
Yeah.
The game's over. You just want to score a touchdown? Either way, giving the ball back to the Packers. What the hell is that? Anyway. All right. That's my spiel. And bottom line is,
you're welcome to Locked On Packers here.
I know. I'm sorry. But I'll just end with this. Yes, it's equal parts Matt LaFleur's fault and the offensive line and the receivers. Jordan Love has regressed. Absolutely he has. And he's not looked like the quarterback that I thought he was going to be. Not the same quarterback that I saw him be in the Dallas Cowboys game or even the 49ers playoff game, he has regressed. There is no doubt. All righty. Before we get out of here, Steven, let's pick Thursday night's game. And it's a doozy. Jets and Patriots. By the way, Jets win that game. You and I called that. Would you ever think that Tyler Shuck would look better than Justin Fields in a win this early?
I would have put it out of the realm of possibility. No.
Well, Tyler Shuck looked good in his win against the Carolina Panthers. And remind me on Saturday, we need to, like, as good as the Panthers were a week ago and all the hype they were having, they look terrible, but they do have a pretty damn good theme song from our guy, Carolina Mike.
Yeah.
Great song. Even though it's not really about the Packers or the Panthers, I should say.
Yeah.
All right.
Play it on the way out.
Thursday night, it's the Jets. And the Jets win their game against the Cleveland Browns thanks to special teams. And Justin Fields threw for what, 58 yards or something in this game? 54 yards passing. Jesus Christ. Anyway, it was all Breece Hall who didn't want to be there. Thursday night, it's the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 13-point favorites, over under 43.5.
Lay the points for the Patriots. Take the under.
These Thursday night games are weird. I guess I'm going to learn from my mistakes with the Broncos and Raiders. I'll take the Patriots to win. I'll have the Jets covering. I'll go under on the 43.5. All righty. You got the Panthers theme song?
Damn right.
All right. Who's this guy? Carolina Mike?
Yeah.
All right. This is a banger.
What's up, y'all? I got a question. Y'all ready to support these Carolina Panthers as they keep pounding against these Green Bay Packers? Yeah. Also, if I had $150,000, I want you to know exactly what I would do, y'all. Check it out. Spend $150,000 on a football team. Wait a minute, that's not enough to buy a team. Spend $150,000 on a tricked out Porsche. Wait, what? Minnesota, it snows too much. Build me a tennis court outside my house, but the HOA is gonna make me tear it down. Might give me some pansies and ticks. Just might get a tiny home in the sticks. I get some Reese's peanut butter cups. Heck no, I ain't sharing. I'ma eat them all up. Might give me a plane and fly to Spain. Except I don't even know how to fly a plane. Scratch that. I'ma get me a bus. One big enough for all of us. The double Dutch. Getting chased by turkeys as we cruise around. Windows down, now up so you can hear the sound. If you had 150,000.
So this dude has this incredible rap and actually performed it at halftime for the Carolina Panthers and New Orleans Saints game. That's pretty awesome. But that song, what's up?
How'd he do?
Oh, he did great. And he had the Carolina Panthers cheerleaders dancing with him. And then everybody went crazy when he threw the money in the air.
Oh, wow.
Do we have that song? What's up?
Do we have that one?
It's not a great video. I think like fans took video of it in the stands, but you can find video of it. I love that song because even though it's like a Panthers song, it has nothing to do with the Panthers whatsoever.
No, it's not. It's too bad I don't have $150,000.
Yeah. Real quick, can you play Nick Sirianni's explanation for going forward on 4th and 6?
Yes, hang on.
I just found this amusing.
All right, 1 second. I wasn't ready for that.
It really doesn't actually explain a whole lot.
Okay. Here we go. Mr. Nick Sirianni, Super Bowl champion, 4th and 6.
So the end of the game, we're up 3. And I would have liked to be in a little closer to kick a field goal. But the closer we would have got, the more, again, you play every situation a little bit differently, but I think it was into the wind on that one. I knew the kick would have to be a little bit lower trajectory of a kick on that particular one. I got a lot of faith in our offense. It didn't work out on this one. We just didn't get it. But the decision, I stand put on that decision. Especially being up 3, because you go up 6, they're still going to need a touchdown, but in Hail Mary, everything like that. So we would have ended the game if we would have got that, and I got a lot of faith in our guys to be able to do that. But the reason I didn't kick the field goal again, being up 3, and also just this trajectory into the wind there on that particular one. So the end of the
blah, 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 whatever. And yeah, he sounds exhausted and sick, and from the cold in Lambeau, but none of that made any sense.
Didn't.
No.
What the hell is he talking about?
It was just a bunch of nonsense. You were just trying to justify going forward. I think a lot of offensive coordinators or offensive play callers are calling fourth down decisions based off of frustration.
Yeah.
And you need to take a minute, take a breather, and realize what the hell you're doing. You're throwing a bomb on 4th and 6 when you're up by 3 points when there's 20 seconds left of the fucking game. It's
But also,
insane.
just be accountable, man.
Yeah.
Just be accountable. Just normally with any head coach, you don't hear nearly as many head coaches making excuses like that one. Just going on and on, run-on sentences.
Yeah.
Well, if we would have done this, we would have been up by this, and then our defense would have had to hold them to this and this and this and this. Like, just say, yeah, I probably got a little too aggressive there. I should have done that.
And
It's a mistake. Moving forward, I'll be better.
especially when you won the game, you can laugh it off and be like, "Yeah, I went a little nuts there." Yeah.
Yeah. There's some things, man. I get it. It's like it's hard. It's hard taking accountability for certain things, but this one shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone's going to come down your road considering you won the game.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if they lost?
Oh, Philadelphia would tear him apart. Even though they won the Super Bowl, people would say he should be fired. But
yeah, be quick to forget.
That's Philly. Congrats to the Sharks. They came back and won the game tonight against the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
Okay. And thanks to Graf for getting the overtime goal. Is that his name? Is that
You
the right
blown
way?
up on your puck.
What? Just the way I'm saying it?
To Graf. Thanks to Graf.
Man, I know the main guys. Celebrini,
It's fine.
Askarov,
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah.
Has what's his name played at all? The first round draft pick?
Michael Misa.
Michael Misa.
Yeah. He's on injured reserve, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good on the Sharks, man. What is it? 4 in a row? 5 in a row? Whatever it is right now?
4 in a row.
Nice. All right, everybody. We will see you on Saturday to get ready for Week 11 in the NFL. And that will be my last show here for a while because going to Hawaii next week and then going to Houston. So we'll figure out stuff with the show and whatnot. But we'll see you guys on Saturday. Thanks to Rock a New Era. Thanks to Pat H. Thanks to AJ Cruz. Our guy, Mac Van. Otis Bird is the word. Mentioned AJ Cruz. I think I said Pat H already. I did. No Tacky. No skills that I saw. All right, everybody. That's it for tonight. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Steven, say what you always say.
Go Packers.